This is going to be about Morgellons, and it's based on research I just finished doing. I was looking at the videos on my medical site, and I noticed something and followed it down, and lo and behold, the natural, normal explanation of what Morgellons is, and it's not nanotechnology, and it's not an alien invasion, other than it's fungal in nature, combined with body acidity and waste a lot of the toxicity of modern life. This is the answer to what would happen if we live in cities with no oxygen and eat processed food and smoke and drink and fill ourselves up with food additives and don't exercise and are under constant stress. This combined with what I'm about to tell you is what produces these items. Now there's a thing called the pleomorphic theory of disease, and it's the other theory of disease. The main theory of disease is the Louis Pasteur theory that diseases are caused by germs and viruses, and that's it. And at the same time Louis Pasteur was saying this, another man was saying that diseases are caused by organisms which are already in the organism, and when the organism begins to fail, they start getting ready to take it apart. And there are 18 forms of this organism, which has a few names. One of them is somatid. They're 10% the size of a bacteria or a germ, and the larger viruses, so no one could see them except Rife with his microscope, and there's a new man in France who's built an ultraviolet microscope. He can see them. However, the theory was completed 100 years ago, and there are 18 different forms of this animal, and the lower the pH goes, the different forms that come out of it are more and more damaging to your health. And people with microscopes have mistaken these 18 different forms of the same animal for 18 different classes or phylum of small creatures, and have gone chasing down the garden path about that. This technology has been well laid out by the people who believe in it for the last 100 years. It's available. It's all over the net. I just found this in like 3 seconds. Now, the lowest form of this, form number 18, when you're really in trouble, at this time you'll have cancer or AIDS or some kind of life-threatening chronic disease, is a thing called a fibrous thallus, which is a rod shape like this, and at the end of its life it lets out a puff of spores because it's a fungus, and then the tube is lying empty. And the lining of this tube, it's kind of plant-like. It's called a symplast, which is the part of a plant that transports liquids. So this thing is set up to transport items along this pathway. And what happens is a fungus will come in one end here and go, oh boy, look at this great empty little home. And the whole place is set up, protected from the environment, room for growth, and nutrients are automatically and slowly delivered out of the blood. So there's your fibrous form of Morgellons, and yes, it's alive. And also A symplast is immune to all the fungicides, which is why that item is immune to antibiotics and fungal cures. It's designed that way. It's plant-like, which is tougher than a fungus. Now, the other factor in this is our modern environment. People are finding colored crystals in a Morgellons. This would be a large clump, probably brown or red or copper colored. I found a picture of an item on a site called Pleomorphic Compendium. Had a picture of this, and those triangles are the little shiny metallic triangles that people are saying they're finding coming out of their skin, and assuming they're man-made and nanotechnology. But what they are is the body, when it's in bad shape and very acidic, will take acidic liquids and crystallize them, because the crystalline form is less damaging than the acid liquid flowing through the bloodstream. So there are maybe at least 50 shapes on the page where the Pleomorphic Compendium shows these items. I just drew one. Added to this crystal will be waste products that the body can get a hold of, like tobacco residues, nicotine, which is brown, marijuana residues, parasites, dead parasites, and pharmaceutical drugs, and old antibiotics. And they're all crushed into a crystal. And some of the forms are actually flat biofilms, which could be any shape, but they're clear if they're not stained. And these are the biofilm-like creatures that they're seeing, something like that. There are crystals within the biofilm. And lots of the pictures, if you go to Pleomorphic Compendium, look like the different animals or worms that people are seeing in Morgellons. So I don't know exactly what the answer would be, but this is a health problem. It's not an alien invasion, and this is what has happened to modern humans. This is a result or symptom of the way we live now. And one would have to get your pH up to above 7.4, and then the pleomorphs will turn around and stop doing what they're doing and go back to the four forms which are beneficial. And you're going to have to clean your body out in a three-dimensional way of everything that's in there. So I'm putting this out as soon as I discovered it. I hope people who are interested in health and Morgellons will jump on this. One would need to probably get onto a Gerson diet, for example, a very healthy, whole food, natural diet, and start doing things that will cleanse the body of parasites, marijuana residue, tobacco residue. If you're that ill, you might want to look at moving out of the city or the situation you're in until you get better, which might take 1 or 2 years. The amount of toxins, I'm in Canada, one of our parliamentarians had his blood tested to see what was going on. There were 1,800 chemicals in it. It's probably typical for all of us. So I hope I'm right about this. It opens the door to handling it, and it's not something that we couldn't understand, and it doesn't come from any place any stranger than within your own body. This 18 cyclic animal, when you get in really bad shape, is preparing for you to die and to disassemble the body and let it go back to nature. And it's a fungal form, and a lot of people are noticing that at the bottom of cancer seems to be actually a fungal infection. So this is in the arena of the incurable chronic diseases, but it's actually a health problem. So take this and run with it. I'm going to look a little deeper into this and see if I can get some better pictures, but it's a natural event. And taking the worry about what the hell is wrong with you away from you is the first step on getting better, getting the stress off the organism. So I prescribe for you fresh air, exercise, good food, and a happy life. It's all good. Okay? Thanks.